So I don't know what to do. All I kept saying was, it's gone. I'm going to lose a finger because I'm also kind of fucking vain about this shit. And I'm like, I can't afford to lose a finger. Like, bitch, I'm trying to pick my struggles here, all right? Like, I can't be fat and have a fucking finger missing, all right? Welcome to UNSHUT, a place where if at any point you feel like you need to shut the up, don't. Happy Thursday, everyone. We are skipping our weekly quickie, and the following episode is going to be sponsored by my almost amputated finger. Just kidding. I didn't lose a finger. The finger is totally fine, but I did have a pretty scary situation happen to me on Monday, and I thought I'd come on here and make an episode about it to share it all with you. Now, I'll still try to keep things kind of short because I just kind of want to get to the point, and I'm totally freestyling and winging this episode. So here we go. On Monday, I was having a pretty busy day and I had not had a single bite of food at all. I went to work out, I was running errands, I did so much that day, and yet I just didn't have an appetite. Now, my stomach was not upset or anything like that. It was just a day where I just didn't have an appetite and I was just on the go. But getting closer to dinner time, I finally started to get a bit of an appetite and I was getting ready to go to Target to pick up my online order. Well, by the time I got to Target, I was like, man, I am starting to get hungry, but I want more of the cucumber salad we made the night before. Keep in mind, we did not need more cucumber salad, okay? I was just already trying to plan ahead for the next couple of days, knowing that I was going to love it so much that we would need to make more. So I go inside of Target to get one cucumber, okay? One cucumber is what I go inside for. I pick up my online order, I go and park the car, and then I run inside to grab a cucumber. So I make it inside, and in my head, I'm thinking, man, I don't want to go home and spend my time chopping up this cucumber. I wonder if I can find one of those tools I've seen people use online where they quickly slice up their cucumber. Well, I ended up getting a mandoline, and not to mention, I wasted about 30 minutes going back and forth. Do I get this $10 one or do I get this $45 one? What's the difference? Do I want to use that much space? What do I do? After going on this internal debate on which one to get, I almost threw in the towel. And unfortunately, I didn't. I ended up pulling the trigger on the $10 one and I came home. You guys, within minutes of coming home, I unboxed it. I washed the cucumbers because I ended up getting the mini cucumbers because it was the only bag left. They didn't have the large cucumbers. What I do is I try to put the guard on the little cucumber, like stab it or whatever, to try to slice, and it did not fit because the cucumber is small. So my fucking dumbass was like, well, let me take the guard off and let me just do it with my hand. So I go and do a one, and I'm like, it's not really doing it. So I adjust the settings for it to kind of like cut a different size. I'm like, it's not working. I'm not really sure what's going on. How does this thing actually work? Literally within seconds, I go and just start doing it really fast, and I don't even look down at the cucumber and realize that it's already slicing down. And I'm literally looking around the kitchen like a fucking dumbass going, oh, I just don't understand how this works. And before you know it, I feel the sharpest pain I've ever felt in my fucking life. I look down and there's blood everywhere. I immediately go into a shock I've never experienced before, and all I can do is look down at my hand, and all I kept saying out loud was, I lost a finger. I lost a finger. It's gone. It's gone. I don't have a finger. What do I do? I don't know what to do. I'm standing over this fucking gadget, okay? This kitchen gadget that fucking sucks, by the way. Don't ever get one. And I'm freaking out about the amount of blood coming on. So I immediately run to the sink and start running water over it. But it is just gushing blood. You guys, like, I'm like speechless. I don't even know where to begin on how to even explain how much blood was coming out of my hand, okay? So immediately my partner runs over, he grabs a bunch of paper towels, he's like, put pressure on it, and I'm like, I can't do anything. I can't even move, so I'm like grabbing the paper towels, I'm putting pressure on it, but now it's starting to burn, and immediately my hand is going cold, you guys. Like, I felt like my hand just took an ice bath. It was awful. So then I start applying pressure to it, and I am just in complete shock. Meanwhile, my partner is trying to like gather up the mess and he opens up the trash can to throw away this mandolin that I bought. And as he goes to throw it into the trash can, he sees the tip of my finger on the bottom side of it. So he immediately starts to go into a panic and he starts to lose color. He's like standing there and I'm also panicked. So I don't know what to do. All I kept saying was, it's gone. I'm going to lose a finger because I'm also kind of fucking vain about this shit. And I'm like, I can't afford to lose a finger. Like, bitch, I'm trying to pick my struggles here. All right. Like, I can't be fat and have a fucking finger missing. All right. So I am in pure panic. All I see is my partner opening up the fridge to grab juice and he's pouring it into a cup and it's lemonade. And all I'm thinking in the middle of this panic is I'm not dipping my fucking finger in lemonade. It's going to burn. But I figured maybe he knew a trick or something. Wrong. He was drinking juice because he felt like he was going to pass out. He started to feel lightheaded because of the blood and finding the chunk of skin underneath the mandolin. So he takes a couple sips and I'm just standing there like, I don't know what to do. So he's like, well, do you want to go to the hospital? I'm like, I have no choice. I have to go to the hospital. Get on Google. What does Google say? So he gets on his phone. He starts to Google and he looks at me. He's like, well, of course Google's going to tell us to go to the hospital. And so immediately I'm like, let's go. So we get into the car and we go to the hospital, right? Everything is just happening so fast at this point. I get to the hospital and I'm just waiting. There's no one there. So thankfully I was able to go in very quickly. But the doctor comes in and the only thing he says to me is, let me guess, a mandolin and a cucumber. Would you believe me if I told you that you're the second person to come in the past hour with the same situation? And my partner and I just start laughing and I am just like laughing, but also trying not to cry. And the only thing I can say to respond to the doctor is, am I going to lose my finger? He looks at me, he like looks at it, takes a quick little glance at it. He's like, well, I can tell you that you missed by just a little bit to where it wouldn't have been able for it to heal. So you're going to be just fine. It's just a piece of skin. It is bleeding a lot, but it's normal. It's a deep cut, but it's going to grow back and you'll probably have a scar, but it'll be like nothing ever happened. It'll also just take a long while for it to happen. So be patient with it. So at this point, I'm already relieved. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I don't have to lose a finger. But I had already panicked and been telling myself the entire time that I was getting ready to lose a finger. So after a little bit, they disinfected, they made me dip it into some water that made it foam up, and it was just fucking gnarly. Again, I've never seen anything like this in my life. It was quick, it was easy, and surprisingly, I don't have any pain at all anymore. There is a bit of a chunk missing, so if you want to see that photo, I will definitely DM it to you, but I'm not posting it on here. However, the visit to the hospital was quick, but you want to know what's so funny about this is I was trying to avoid elongating the process of prepping dinner and getting stuff set up, and yet because of this stupid shit, we ended up having dinner at like 8, 9 o'clock. So it's just crazy how things happen. And I was like, what the fuck is my life right now? Finger is fine, everyone. But the reason I wanted to make this episode is because I am about to come for some of you guys because you were all sliding into my DMs. And yes, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for sliding into my DMs and asking if I was okay. But also at the same time, where the fuck is that energy for my show? All right. Because let me tell you something. I know we have music in common, and my show is based around music and creative arts. We can all share a love for music. Maybe it's not the same taste, and I'll accept that, but we all share music in common. It's not every fucking day I am losing a finger, you guys. So in order for that engagement to happen, where the fuck is that energy for my show? So all jokes aside, what I wanted to do for today's episode is I am going to go through my DMs and I'm going to read you some of the funny things some of you said. I'm not going to go and read all of them because when I tell you there were hundreds, okay? I wish that I could be making this up, you guys. I was feeling all the love because I got hundreds of you guys that DM'd me asking me, what happened? Are you okay? And then some of you guys just obviously understood my humor and understood the following clip I posted later and responded to it. And they were just so fucking funny to me. And also the amount of you that clicked on that link when I pretended I recorded the entire accident, you're all frauds for that shit, all right? Click on my episode links and watch my show, all right? So I'm about to open up my phone and we're going to go through some of these DMs. Are you ready? Okay, so the first one I'm going to open, it's from Kat, who's the owner of Audette's Legacy. She does the best candles in the world. I just got a big kit from her and I'm super excited about it. Her response to my story said, iconic, it's the middle one. Haha. And let me tell you the irony of it being my middle finger, okay? It is so fucking hilarious to me that out of all the fingers, it happened to be my middle finger. What an F you from the universe, right? Mary Bew, who was recently on my show, she said, no. Michael Palace, who was also on my show, all he sent were some crying emojis. Bitch, I was crying too, all right? I could not believe it, and I did not want to lose a finger at all, okay? Like, I have never felt so vain in my entire life. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about the pain. I just did not want to lose a finger. So yes, I was crying too. This next one came from my sweet Lolo. I just love you so much. And you said the middle finger out of all of them. I hope you're okay, Mo. No, girl, for real. Like, out of all of them, I could not believe that happened. But seriously, I am just still dying at some of your guys' responses because you do just know me so well. But hopefully, you guys did not expect me to do a video about this. This next one kills me too because it's from Hannah. Shout out to you, Hannah. I miss you so much. It's been years since I've seen you. You said, not you flipping me off. My feelings were a little hurt. Like, seriously, I made a video following up the link that I posted, clickbaiting some of you guys. And yes, I flipped everyone off, but it is my middle finger. So my girlfriend, Allison Kyler, who is an icon, by the way, the OG of the iPod Shadow, whatever, I don't know what to call it. But anyway, shout out to you, Allison. I miss you. I love you so much. And if you know Allison, you will understand the tone of her response. Shut the fuck up. Seriously, I wish I could. This next one is from Momo. This one is, I have to share it because she's also a nurse. She's in the medical field. Those things scare me. I'm glad you're okay and you're going to heal. We get so many finger injuries with mandolins, new knives, the ninja blender all the time. It's a great idea until your finger is in the salad. Woo! This next one is from Ross, and holy fuck, this one cracks me up because for over 10 years, you have given me a hard time about hard-boiled eggs, even though I'm a master at them now. But his response said, were you trying to peel eggs again? Literally, the struggles of me in the kitchen will go down in history for the biggest flops ever, more so than some of the lack of views I get on the show sometimes, okay? This next one came from Jess, someone who I met in workout classes back in Las Vegas. Oh my God. The fact that you said that you're sticking to the Kendall Jenner's method from now on is insane after cutting your finger. And let me tell you guys, I will now only be chopping my shit with little knives. I am traumatized from this experience. This next one's from my girl Christina, who is one of my day ones on YouTube, and I love her so much. She said, well, thank goodness, legit had me thinking you'd lost a whole finger there. Literally, me too, girl. I thought it was gone. I thought I was going to lose it forever. And I don't know what that would have done to the shitty self-esteem I already have sometimes. So just kidding. My self-esteem is popping these days. I fucking love myself. I'm just kidding, everyone. Don't get worried about me. I'm not going to get all sad and boohoo me ever. Okay. Well, maybe one day if it gets the views. One of my old classmates, Alexis, she said, so glad your finger is going to be okay. Thanks so much. I am so happy it's going to be okay too. And I get to keep the bitch. So I'm so excited and I miss you. I haven't seen you in so many years. I loved hearing from you. And hopefully this never happens to you or anyone else that responded to the story. I hope no one ever has to feel this fucking pain and this shock and trauma that I went through in the kitchen. I hope not. My BFF Krista sent me a DM and it's funny reading it because if you know my relationship with her, you just know that if she would have been here, we probably would have been panicking and laughing and crying all at the same time together. But what's funny is she said, what did you do? Because she knew damn well I did something stupid. Bitch, I was just a fucking mess in the kitchen. I was careless. I was an idiot and I almost chopped out my finger because of it. So, but she did also say, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then laughed at my following story. My aunt from Guatemala said, que te mejores pronto. Bitch, I had the whole fucking nation worried about me and this damn finger. I need this energy into my show, you guys, all right? I will literally chop off every fucking finger I have to get this level of engagement from you guys, okay? Because if you know anything about my stories, which side note, by the way, thank you so much, Aunt. I love you and I miss you and I can't wait to hug on you again. Thank you for checking up on me. Even before I started the show, my engagement on my stories have always been really high. I will post a location on my story and I would get like 700 views, right? Like my engagement on my Instagram stories is so high and I just love posting on my stories. But the funny thing about it is that even though my engagement's high, this is the first time the amount of you, hundreds of you, have slid into my DMs all in one day. So it's just really funny. My girlfriend Kate said, oh no, Oh, yes, girl. It happened and it sucked ass. And what's so funny about this to me is that I have shared recipes with her before, and I'm definitely not ever going to make recommendations on what tools and gadgets to use in the kitchen. That's for damn sure. This next one came from an old classmate of mine who I absolutely adore. Her name is Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. I love you. She has a beautiful singing voice, by the way, everyone. She said, "Love that it's the middle finger. Feels right, especially with political climates. Haha, love you. Heal up soon, handsome." This was such an appropriate response, and it was one of my favorites too, because if you know me, you know that humor is just what I turn to when things go dark. Shout out to you, Elizabeth. Thanks for checking in on me, and thanks for sharing your humor with me too. I love it. I am literally scrolling through so many because my DMs need to refresh in order for them to continue to load. This is how many of them there are. So many of them were emojis, but genuinely thank you everyone for checking in on me during this scare. Oh, here's a good one, because when I tell you great minds think alike, this one goes out to an old classmate and friend of mine. Her name is Barbara, and I love her so much. And the irony of me already thinking how I'm going to create content from this, considering the engagement was so high, because apparently everyone gives a fuck about my finger, right? She said, "So I saw your post about your finger last night and then dreamt about you slicing your finger, but then you started doing PSAs on how not to cut your finger and you made it big." If you want some tips on how not to do that, don't be a dumbass in the kitchen. There you go. So, all in all, if I haven't said thank you for checking in on me during this, thanks again. And I had to save this last one for last because I can't even read past the first two words without losing it. And it's from my cousin Bere. So, thank you so much for sending this one. This is how we're closing out the episode. Me and my finger are going to be just fine. But her response was probably the best one I got. And she said, "That's like a lesbian circumcision." And I'm done. I'm out of here. Love you all. But thanks for being here with me during this traumatic experience. I guess I got to lose a finger every fucking week now. Hey, if you've made it this far, don't forget to follow the socials on the screen or in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you next week.